Thank you for joining us for another episode of Cryptocurrent. Just one quick reminder. Cryptocurrent is a cryptocurrency and blockchain education platform that's bridging the gap between the curious newcomers who are just discovering the space and the thought leaders who are shaping its future. All opinions expressed by Richard Carthon, the Cryptocurrent team, and their guests on this show are exclusively their own opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Richard, the team, and their guests as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow as financial advice. This show and any other Cryptocurrent production is exclusively for informational purposes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrent. Your host here, Richard Carthon. And today I have a special guest all the way out in Rhode Island working on a really cool play-to-earn game that I'm excited to learn more about and that you should be excited to have on your radar. We have Premium Carrots, aka Michael with Riot Racers. How are you doing today?
Hey, I am doing excellent. I appreciate the airtime here. Thanks for having me on.
No doubt, man. Well, excited to learn about this game. But first, want to learn a little bit more about you. Can you give us a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So before crypto and NFT world, I was involved in kind of finance for a while. Then I was involved in actuarial and data sciences. So career before crypto and NFT space was I was in health, kind of health and wellness industry. I was in banking. I was in insurance. And that was the past like 12, 13 years. And then early, I dabbled in crypto in 2017. It was always kind of on my radar. But it was early in 2021 where I began to learn about NFTs and something really clicked with them. I became, I'm going to call it minorly obsessed, although it's full-blown issue, like seek medical attention type of thing. And I went head first and I never looked back. And, I've been in the space since then. I went full time in the space in about end of July, early August. I went full time, and it's been a wild ride, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Man, well, congratulations on taking that plunge. I know that going from either a traditional working background to just full degen into like I am making this my full-time job is a big transition, and it sounds like you have a lot of exciting things to be looking forward to in this space. So learning about crypto back in 17, 18, but really getting passionate about it and like fully into it into last year. One of the things I always like to bring up before we kind of go too deep in this conversation is, do you think people are too late to get into crypto right now? So a lot of people think like they've missed the boat, they've missed the ship, right? Like they're too late. What's your opinion on that?
The short answer is no. I think being too late, there's probably different perspectives though, right? There's this perspective of like price. Am I too late? Did I miss the ride up? And even for that, I think the answer is no. If you're coming into Bitcoin 10 years ago and you come in now, obviously it's going to be very different again from a price perspective and just thinking about the returns. But we're thinking about it from more of a knowledge base and utilization case. I don't think so at all. I think it's a quick learning curve when you get in and you fully understand what it's all about. Outside looking in, it can be intimidating. I remember really before I fully came in and embraced crypto and NFTs, I thought very much it was black box. It was, I don't know what this is or what the big deal about it is. But I think when people can really learn about blockchains and their future use and the tech behind it and all of the good that it can do, I don't think people are late, or rather, will be too late at all. I really don't.
I agree. And I just appreciate when, hearing from people who are getting into the space, even within the last 2 years, that we're still super early in this game and there's still a lot of opportunity and a lot of various aspects within this space. So I appreciate you, sharing that sentiment. But the reason why we came here, the reason why we're here to listen more about this, to learn about Riot Racers game. So what is it? How'd you come up with it? And why are you so fired up about this play to earn game?
Yeah. So Riot Racers, I'm VP Data Science for Riot Racers. I've been with the team since July. The project started late April, beginning of May. It was founded by Metacon, and shortly after that, our creative director, who is in charge of making all of our NFTs, George, came on the team, which, by the way, I don't know if we can get them up on the screen or something, but they look just fantastic. Slowly after that, we took on more of our core team, our executive team, rounded that out. Where we are now, we're up to about 30, 35 employees. But Riot Racers itself, it started out kind of as we've always called it a play-to-earn game. I think what we've had for a while is a pay-to-play kind of model or game, and we're slowly about to be rolling out a full play-to-earn game. So Riot Racers we are a car racing NFT-based game. So we have assets that are NFT-based, so you can buy them on OpenSea. We have cars, we have drivers for the cars. We have different pieces of land that all participate in the game, such as like gas stations and racetrack land. So those play a role in races. People can own different assets, either our car and drivers, and have a hands-on experience and actually participate in racing. They can own the racetrack land or gas stations and have more of a hands-off experience where they'll reap rewards by holding those assets, but they don't necessarily need to play in the game or participate in our Discord and be there every day. So for the past 10 months, we've really been building behind the scenes. We have a large engineering team. We released the first iteration of our racing game, I think like maybe mid-February. And what the game entails is anyone can come and play. If you have one car and one driver, those are the two prereqs to participate. And you enter yourself into a race. You're presented with racing conditions. You choose racing strategy. And based on the racing strategy that you choose, how good your car is and how good your driver is, that impacts the outcome of a race. So you go and enter a race, you're participating with other members in our community. Races are simmed in the background. You're presented a result. If you're on the pay and play side, you'll enter a race with our native token, which is called Riot Token. So you might enter a race for, say, 5 or 10 Riot token up to maybe a few hundred, and you will share in the reward pool, which is all given out in Riot. If you're on our play to earn side, you can participate in racing at no cost. We have a robust rental system that we're putting the finishing touches on right now. So anyone will be able to come and rent out a car and driver combo for free. And then because it's pay to play, or rather play to earn, you can go enter races for free. And when you enter races on our play to earn side, it's the same format as our pay to play, where it's, you're given strategy, you choose your strategy, although they're on the play to earn side are pre-filled. So if you don't want to take the time, you can just kind of click through and that's it. Where our project itself, we are all, we're all kind of NFT native, I'll call us. We've all been in different NFT communities, participated in them in different Discords and projects. A lot of us are crypto native as well. But I think the exciting part about it, and the thing that really gets us all together is we're all auto enthusiasts. We all love cars. So just be able to mash up NFTs and cars into one nice company and project, it's really like a dream come true for a lot of us.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool, man. So just so I can kind of run all that back. So it's a play to earn model where you're playing with NFT game. There's cars, mechanic shops, gas stations, and racetrack land. So to be able to play, you need, and drivers. So you need a driver and a car to be able to play. You also have a way that you can rent them and basically play for free if you want to, if you're doing that model. But otherwise you have a way that you can go and use the native token to essentially bets on each of the races that you participate in. Now, I want to first focus on the drivers and the cars for these NFTs. So by purchasing and finding these particular driver and a particular car, does that give them an advantage in the race itself, or what are the mechanics in the background that makes the background algorithm kind of work?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. And I just threw a lot at you, so that was impressive to boil that down into like 10, 20 seconds and spit it back at me. So thank you for doing that to keep our listeners on track here.
No problem.
So cars don't have any different type of skill rating or any like discerning traits necessarily at the moment that might make one car better than another. We have different classes of car. We have 7 classes from rookie up to legendary. Your car class dictates the buy-in or entry that you can do in a race. So if you have a rookie car, you're racing at lower Riot amount entry. So you have Riot, you have less or lower prize pools at a rookie level. If you go up to a legendary level, you're going to have more prize pool. Right now in the cars, that's the biggest difference. Over time, you'll be able to buy upgrades for your car. Your upgrades for your car add to your car's overall rating. And when you're racing against 2 cars that are the same, when we do have upgrades and ratings, then a rating will impact a racing outcome. Having a higher one will provide you a benefit over that. On drivers do actually have skill ratings. So when you're purchasing or looking for a driver to participate in a race, that is something that's really important that you want to look out for. All of our drivers have a skill rating between, I think it's 323 to 433. And so 433 is the cap. That total rating is divided into 5 different buckets. So we have traits such as speed and vision and handling and braking. Those numbers do matter. The actual racing algorithm that happens in the background is made up of 51% of a user's strategy. So choosing the correct strategy based on racing conditions. And strategy might be things such as, what type of braking do you want to use? What type of engine tuning? Picking the correct driver for the racing conditions that are presented. The other 49% is made up of the car, so the car's total rating or upgraded amount, which at the moment is not in there. And the other part of that 49% is the driver. So the driver's total rating skills do factor in and are an important thing to look out for.
Awesome. So a good indicator that for people who are looking to play to earn and give themselves a leg up, getting yourself a good driver sounds like gets you in a good position, especially as it relates to understanding the algorithm of strategy that you need for particular tracks. So now let's go for the passive income standpoint. So we have the gas stations and the racetrack land. Can you speak on that a little bit more?
Yeah. So we usually don't call it or refer to it as passive income. More so we like to look at it as rewards. So if you own a gas station, if you own a mechanic shop, if you own racetrack land, we have what's called Riot Owners Club. We actually have 2 things. We have Riot Owners Club and RRS, Riot Reward Share. So Riot Owners Club, if you own, there's 4 or 5 levels, and depending on the assets that you hold in your wallet, you can enter different levels. All that's automated on our site. So when you connect your wallet to our site and you come, you can go to the rewards page. It'll show you what you're eligible to enter. You can go ahead and do that. And then depending on the level that you're in, we'll give you a Riot token, a certain amount per month as a reward. The RRS, Riot Reward Share, is a similar thing, but you don't need groups of assets to hit certain levels per se. Just as a baseline, cars provide Riot token, and racetrack land provides Riot token just for holding 1 per month. And all that's stackable. So if you own 10 or 20 cars, you'll get 10 or 20 times the amount of Riot rewards by having that car. And all this is done without staking, just by holding the assets. You can come to our site and you can claim those rewards.
That's really cool. So it looks like you have a lot of this built out. Obviously, you are excited for what's to come, and I believe launch is coming up pretty soon. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So like I said a little while ago, mid-Feb, we launched our pay to play portion where you can enter races for Riot rewards. What we are slowly going to be launching in the coming weeks, days even, is our full play to earn model. So as it is, you can actually go to our website and participate in the play to earn races. You'll find them under Racing School. They're called Racing School. So they have no entry. They're free to enter, and they pay out Riot rewards for each race. What we will be launching is a rental system and a breeding system. So our rental system will be coming out. Rentals, pretty much any owner of our NFTs, either car or drivers, will be able to rent those out. Everything that's rented out is rented in a profit share system. So it's all free. There's no upfront cost. In exchange for having no upfront cost, you have to, as the rentee, provide a portion of race winning. So say you come and rent out my car and you go, play for a week and you earn, 500 Riot tokens. well, I'm going to set a percent share. I might set 50, 60, 80%, whatever it is. That would be the fee to actually rent it free of charge. You get to keep the rest. So that's how a rental system will work. Rentals are indefinite. Once an asset's rented out, there's no timeline on when it can, when it has to be returned. But what can happen, me as the owner of an asset, if I'm not happy with the way that the asset that I have rented out is being used, I can pull it back. And similarly, on the rentee side, if for whatever reason they want to turn back the car or driver in, they can do that anytime. Short of either of those two actions happening, it's an indefinite period that the rental occurs for. All this is done on our site. We're going to have like a rental marketplace up and running. It'll be really UI friendly, very straightforward and easy to use. Our breeding system, which really is called spawning, or in our platform we'll be calling it spawning. We say the word breeding as kind of a nod or homage to the other companies that have paved the way, right? And it's just kind of industry term, but we looked at that and thought, well, breeding two drivers who are human drivers doesn't really make a lot. Optically, that's not great. Let's not call it breeding. And similarly on cars, right? You can't breed two cars together. So we're calling it spawning. But for those actions, you do need two assets paired together. So either two cars paired together, any two cars will do. The offspring of those two cars will be the lesser class. So out of our 7 classes, if you are spawning a legendary car, the highest one, and you're spawning it with a rookie car, the lowest one, your offspring will be a rookie. If you don't have two assets on the car side, you can go ahead and use our Riot Racer owned milk truck, we're calling it. And for a small extra fee on our spawning, you only need one asset and you can produce an offspring. On the driver side, you will need a male and female to spawn. If you don't have the two parts of the spawning equation, we have our own Riot asset called Queen Bee, which you can come and basically rent or temporarily use to spawn. And the outcome, the offspring of spawn drivers, will have a total rating, which is randomly generated between our lower and upper bounds for our existing drivers, which again are 323 and 433. It will also be randomized in the type. So we have like 5 or 6 different types of drivers, and that will be chosen at random. All this will be done on our website again. We're building out really friendly UI system, really easy to interact with. And really these two components will help onboard and bridge the gap of kind of the expensive nature of NFTs, right? So like as it is now to come and play and participate in our racing, you'll need to buy a car and driver, which might cost at a minimum 0.15, 0.2 ETH. If you are in the NFT landscape, that might not it might not sound all that crazy. If you are onboarding and you're new, that could be a lot of money. Right. So we're hoping that this really enables and empowers a lot of people to come and participate in our racing platform, really at no cost to them.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept for a lot of people who are already kind of in the space and understand what is the standard as it relates to ETH and NFTs and what will be purchased. The prices you just said are very chewable, but for your brand new newbie who is coming in to a game of any sort, whether it's mobile or regular game, it's a premium to participate. How has I have 2 questions. Just one as it relates to this. The first is, as you look at mass adoption and as we onboard the new wave of people that are going to be coming into crypto gaming, how do we educate them and let them know like this is basically like standard for participating in this type of environment, and like, or what is the on-ramp to make it potentially more affordable so that they can scale up and get to a point where they can be making those types of purchases to participate in these games?
Yeah. So, I think there's probably 2 answers to that. One answer, what I really hope to see and would like to see is that we can ultimately empower people to purchase their own car and driver, their own NFTs over time, and participate in the game at that level. And doing that by onboarding people through this free rental system, the free races, the free play to earn races. People can come in and participate at that level, earn enough there, and then go on and buy their own car and their own driver. Then play that game and play that system of, okay, I own these 2 assets, these car and drivers, which I can race. let me go and spawn them, create more. Now I can go and rent them out. I can earn myself the same way that this person was once doing that I was renting from, right? They can stay in that lane of our platform, or maybe they want to buy their own car and driver and come back over to the pay and play side and participate in races. And soon down the road, I'd say probably, end of Q2, maybe early Q3, we're going to be rolling out an entire new season on the pay to play side, where I picture being very much like, say in golf, FedEx Cup, where you have weekend tournaments that you have to qualify to get into. So qualifying activity might be racing a certain amount of times in the week, or maybe winning a certain amount of races. You'll get into the weekend tournament for free, which Riot would be sponsoring and putting up a large prize pool. You would earn points in that weekend tournament for placing a certain level. And then if you're in a top, say 50 or 100 standings, you would get invited to the year-end big Grand Slam playoff thing with a huge, huge Riot purse, right? So ultimately, the experience, even though you're starting out free and you're not owning anything, because there is this kind of scaling issue in NFTs to an extent on pricing, we're hoping to enable people to basically move up as high as they would like to go through the system, and through basically providing these means to the end for these users.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a unique approach to try to appease some of the challenges of initial newbies coming into the space. So I am interested to see how all that plays out. One more kind of question I have, just relating to the security of setting all this up. So recently in the NFT gaming play to earn space, Axie Infinity had over a $600 million breach with a smart contract being exposed. I'm sure this is a forefront of attention for you and your team of making sure that everything's staying secure. But what are some of the things you're putting in place to make sure that this doesn't happen within your own ecosystem?
Absolutely. And, that was devastating news, obviously to the Axie community, but really the play to earn community and the NFT community as a whole. That was, a huge issue. I don't think anyone was happy to see that, but hopefully we can learn, all of us can learn from that. And just push forward and get better. Specifically in Riot Racers, how we're picturing security, one is of utmost importance. We leverage the blockchain for certain components of our game, the components that make a lot of sense. What we've seen from other games that have come before us and that we have learned from is that the blockchain doesn't necessarily make sense for every single activity that occurs. And either that's, we operate on Poly. So there isn't a huge transactional cost per se for people that are coming to buy from our marketplace or any other item. But we still have seen in other games when they operate on chain, everything is on chain. Say there's another NFT where races are on chain. You see issues over time. So how we are picturing this, and specific to safety, is that not everything has to be on chain for this to work properly. Just because we're on NFT and crypto, it doesn't all have to be there. Certain things your assets that you own, coming to our marketplace and buying an NFT, right? That could be on chain. It could be, transactional in that way. We can reconcile it. We can see the proof of history, the proof of ownership, all that kind of stuff. But other things such as our rental system, our rental platform, for the safety of both parties, the renter and rentee, all that we're going to do, we're going to take that kind of transaction, that process off chain, and do it instead on our own system, in our own data storage and centers and servers, et cetera. If you are renting my asset in the game, in the algorithm in the background that simulates, all that's going to happen is that, when you're entering this race, you're basically temporarily using or borrowing my car's ID, and it will simulate. And the alternative to that would obviously putting on chain, me sending you the asset, you sending it back. But there's various exposure issues there, as you pointed out. There's an Axie hack. We don't want anything like that to happen, especially as our platform grows and blows up and potentially has hundreds of thousands of users and a multiple of that of assets floating around. We want to limit all of that as much as possible. So this is kind of our approach to it. It is taking these simpler tasks off chain and doing them in a very safe and secure way that enables safety for all participants.
I think that's really, really wise in the way that you're kind of formatting it even from a standpoint of everything doesn't need to be on blockchain. Kind of like you said, not all activities on there. And by taking some of the things off chain and having it be done in a secure way, I think does reinforce some of that security that you're talking about. So I think that is a really cool approach to that. So happy to hear that you'll have a good approach on the security side of things. But as we kind of wrap up here, man, like this has been super informative and I'm excited to learn more about this. And I'm sure everyone listening is going to want to go and check this out. But I always like to finish with 2 fun questions. The first being, with all the information that you've been able to learn with building out Riot Racers, if you can impart 1 to 2 pieces of wisdom to yourself when you first got started building this, what would you tell yourself?
Take time for yourself. Like, take family time, take leisurely time. Don't just build and work all the time. Segmenting out, like, it becomes difficult when work is like life in reality and there's really no separation. So find that balance and find the ability to take a step back and realize, even though at the moment building is the most important thing and giving all the time to it because it is that busy and there's these many things going on. Take a step back and take an hour and go outside and spend time with your kids. That's probably, looking at this from starting the journey, is probably like the biggest piece of advice that I would give out.
It's a good reminder because it's very easy to get tunnel vision and super excited and passionate about something you're building and lose sight of just time for yourself and for family and for things that matter. You can have a balance of both. You can do both. It's just a matter of time management. So definitely appreciate that. But again, man, as we wrap up here, what is a final thought that you want to leave with all the listeners today?
Final thought, come test our platform. We're at www.riotracers.com. We have spent, we have a huge engineering team. We spent countless hours building on our platform. Really, a lot of our team has been in the NFT space. We've participated in other NFTs. We've played these games. We like to think that we've learned from them. We've learned what was good and what's bad. And I think we're all really proud and excited about the product that we currently have out and the product that we'll be continuing to roll out, our new one in these coming weeks. And even down the road, months and years, we have a lot of other plans. So come see what it's all about. You can do that, as we just talked about a little bit, really for free through this rental system and the play to earn system. So come see what we're about.
Absolutely. So y'all heard it here first from Premium Carrots, aka Michael. Make sure you go check out Riot Racers. Got all the information on their website. They have a really cool Twitter as well. I'll make sure to share all the links in the show notes. But again, thank you so much for spending time with us. And of course, for everyone listening, stay cryptocurrent.